Hello, everyone. Sean Higgs coming at you here on Wednesday, the 11th of June. Matt, Fargo, and me, we're feeling blue today because what do we go 1-1 yesterday in our picks here. We did not text each other all day like, hey, let's dress up the same. Just happens that way. Before we get to our wardrobe malfunction, we'll ask you, real simple. You're here. You're on the YouTube channel, Winner Circle Sports Betting Content Daily, free picks daily. Hit that thumbs up button. Let's go. Let's go. Notification bell on so you know each and every day. Major League Baseball, and soon NFL and college football. Now, just because we do a lot of baseball videos right now, that's just that time of year. That does not mean if you go to our host, gamblersworld.net, you will not see picks up in the WNBA, the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup Finals on the ice, Canadian football. Other sports are included. We just don't do videos on random things. We try to throw a little more out there. But who knows? Maybe in the future we get some more people come on doing some videos. Maybe there will be a WNBA video randomly. Who knows? I do not know. I cannot predict the future. But free picks are free picks. Premium content is premium content. And we have a good deal going on right now. I saw it come up. Major League Baseball through the All-Star break now. $149. That's a great deal, especially for someone you want to jump on Matt. I'm going to say Matt. Now, Matt's number 3 in MLB on the site. Yeah, that's all right because pretty interesting that listen, you got 2 guys ahead of you, Matt. I saw on the leaderboard there, Oskheim and Robin Solani. Your wagers or your bets, you kind of got them by about 200 games. You're 75 and 95 people, 45% up 2 times. And I'm going to kind of segue this into yesterday. We went 1-1 yesterday. Took the Royals there as a big dog at an over. And Matt had said, and then let's talk about it in a second, Matt. Like, it's kind of a value play, right? We kind of take numbers based on, all right, it is what it is. I'll take it. If it wins, you look like a genius. If it loses, I can't believe you took an underdog. But that's just one game in a season of each team's 162 games. The value is there on the underdogs. Your prime candidate says, I don't even know what the word we're looking for. You are 79.95 plus 2 dimes. Again, we have some big lines today in games. Let's just say before we get into this, Matt, good to see you again. It's been a long 24 hours.
It has.
But your overall record, and just like yesterday's show, we talked about teams like the Yankees. Hey, look, they're 20 games over 500. They're plus 105 or plus 215. And you have these teams that are under 500, big plus money. Teams that are 500-ish or a couple games over, up 7, 8, 900 on a season. We got to tell the people, it's okay. You can lose. You're not going to go 9-0 every day. It's not going to happen. Taking dogs, you win. Hello. Matt, tell people why the dogs are good.
Yeah, I agree with what you just said. And the one big aspect you have to look at is, the White Sox last year and the Rockies this year notwithstanding, even the worst teams are going to win 60 games. So, no, you can't bet them every day. Absolutely not. But if you find the right spots, you can definitely make decent money on the big dogs if you do pick those right spots. But even the middle dogs, like last night, I had the Marlins plus 123, I think it was. And they're playing the Pirates. The Marlins stink, but the Pirates aren't any better with Mitch Keller, and they were getting plus money. So for me, that's an easy take because that is a coin flip game, and I'll take an underdog all day long in a situation like that. And as you mentioned, 45%, if you see that percentage, you're like, oh my God, this guy, he's horrible. But when you bet an underdog, when every one of those games is an underdog, the value prices, they add up. And these aren't all, like I said, these aren't all huge dogs. A lot of these are just middle range, plus 120, plus 130, plus 140. And those are the spots I like to go for most of the time because, like I mentioned, the big dogs, the really big dogs, they're going to lose obviously more often than they're going to win. So whereas you get these, teams playing other bad teams at plus money, a lot of them plus takes. You have to, in my opinion.
Yeah, again, people love it's the Yankees, it's the Dodgers, we got to take Kansas City, we got to do all these like huge, and I can't say I was kind of segueing into like football kind of bets. Favorites are great. They're favorites for a reason. But the best team, especially more in baseball, more than any other sport, the best team is going to lose 60 times I mean, unless you have an epic year where you're going 100, 510 wins, which is kind of a real outlier. Remember the Dodgers last year were supposed to win 105 games. Yeah, they didn't. They didn't. Not even with the World Series. This year, the same. Best team ever assembled. Not going to get there. It's okay to take dogs. Now, I did these games, and I was like, you know what? I thought the Nats. Again, it's a weird kind of schedule, and when I picked the games here, Matt, could I have gone Tampa Bay, Boston? You got a lot of Red Sox fans out there, right? I guess probably Detroit, Baltimore, Tigers have been really good. I did the Mets because they're the Mets, and let's be honest, they're in first place. And they're having a great year. What can we say about a team that's 20 games over 500 or 25-7 home? Was not expecting a line of minus 270 though with Peterson on the hill here. I mean 270. Totals 8.5. A 5-4 game last night. Extra innings. Not easy. You look at the history of these two clubs. I just pulled up real fast. Like the Mets have won 8 of the last 10. Well, that's all fine and dandy because the Nationals were absolute trash last year. This year, the Mets are 3-2 against them. And our guy, Mr. Irvin here, pitched way back in April. 7 pretty good innings. 7 the third inning. Gave up a run. Struck out a couple guys. He's not a big strikeout guy. Here's a spot. I know that there's 275. The 270 is going to be off the board. Run lines into one. Well, yeah, that's a little much for me, but let's go. 8.5 total, maybe. Doggy, what do you got?
Yeah, I like the over the spot. You mentioned last night the 5-4 game. It stuck over because it went in extra innings. And the one thing I looked at, when looking into this game was Washington used 4 relievers. The Mets used 5. So even though both teams were off on Monday, these guys might be available to pitch tonight. But I don't know if they'll use them all or not, if they're needed or not. And the Nationals bullpen is not good. Like you said, Irvin pitched 7.1, gave up just 1 run in the one meeting this year, and they only won 5-4 because of the bullpen. The bullpen gave up 3 runs or 2 runs, and the Mets bullpen actually gave up 4 runs. So the game went over in that regard because of 6 runs in the 8th and 9th inning. So even though the Mets bullpen has been lights out this year, the Washington bullpen is not, and I think that could come into play again. Peterson, he's been having a great year, but like you mentioned, 275, man, definitely can't lay it. Maybe a run line play on him, but I think this game goes over. Irvin, is 7-5-1 to the over this year. Peterson, as good as he has pitched, is just 6-5-1 to the under. So there's no real edge there. And the Mets bats can get hot. So I think we're catching a good number here at 8.5, and I like the over.
Yeah, you got a little Cal Irvine on your head, and we'll come back to Irvine in a couple months. But yeah, Jake Irvin, Peterson's great year for this kid. And I got to be honest, I have a Met under because I thought the pitching would not hold up. I figured, who are these guys? Catch lightning in a bottle with some of these guys. They're still doing it. They're still winning games here, so I think I could maybe cash that ticket as a loser. That's going to be not cash it as a loser, but almost. I don't like to chalk up things before things are over, whether it's a game or season total kind of stuff like that. But they are basically halfway to that number already, so I think I'm kind of in trouble on that one there. I mean, it's
their pitching is a surprise, like you said. Like they have no real typical ace. They don't. Their best pitchers are
him.
You got McGill, who is, he's serviceable. Senga, where'd this guy come from? Griffin
I sort of like saying, but like you said, you bring in Minaya, who got hurt right away, and again, that was kind of a nice reclamation project. And here comes Griffin Canning again, a innings kind of guy out of the Angels organization, but you saw how bad the Angels were. Comes here, been solid. I gotta give him the credit. I come in, I'll beat my chest like, this team's bad, boom, 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 or this team's good. Well, here we are halfway through, and that looks like a totally bad call by me, Met fans. You guys, there you go. Here I have the Nats to go over 70 wins here, which will be a little bit of a battle. Might be a little bit of a battle to get to that 70.
I mean, they're 30 and 36 right now. That's not too bad. I mean, they're on pace, I believe, right? Or they're close to it.
Here's the thing, though. You're on pace, and you got the Phillies playing like trash, and the Braves have not even shown up yet this year. So, you'd think one of those teams are going to go on a run. Where do we have our run yet, too? I mean, I don't know. I'll be a little closer, a little close shave there if we do catch it.
Yeah.
We do catch it. But official pick here for Matt. We're going to go over 8.5 Nationals and the Mets. Again, I mentioned Matt, number 3 overall for the year Major League Baseball. He's got a double play up, plus a little NBA. We do have NBA finals tonight here. Little Game 3 action. Thunder and who are they playing? Oh, the Pacers. That's right. Real fast, we'll get to the baseball. What were the Knicks doing firing Tibbs? Yeah, you might not like the guy's rotation. Let's fire the guy who's taken us to the playoffs back-to-back years. We won series with the guy, and now who's the coach? Who are they bringing in? You got to buy some other coach out of a contract?
Yeah, I heard this morning that they formally asked permission to talk to Jason Kidd in Dallas. Said,
yeah,
nope, not going to happen.
I'm sure Jason Kidd. Let's see. We got the first pick in the draft. Kyrie will be back. AD will be back. Everybody else on his team will be healthy. Yeah, we went to the playoffs last year when nobody thought we'd be good. Yeah, I'm sure he wants to run out of. Let me go to New York when I could stay in Dallas, which is cheaper with no state taxes. And let's be honest, you were pretty much a Maverick kind of – he played for the Mavericks for years. I'm sure he thinks of it as like a little home. And I got the number 1 pick in the draft. Okay, sure. Yeah, let me go to the Knicks freak show to deal with that stuff every day.
Yeah, we touched on this. We touched on this last week when you were out with Chipper, and we talked about Thibodeau and like what he has done. In how long has he been there? 6 years or something like that. Like the last 2 years, like what they've done the last 2 years is win how many games? 50 games each year for the first time in like 10 years or whatever. Went to the conference finals for the first time in forever. It's just that culture. It's just the ownership and the management. But it's kind of like this with a lot of teams in the NBA now. You're seeing coaches get fired a year after winning championships because they can't repeat. It's the hook is so short now for NBA coaches. It's just no job is safe.
Well, yeah, and we'll seg that way into the baseball hook where these rookies get called up at 21 and all of a sudden they're, this guy's a bust. Let's send him back down. I mean, and the Rockies, boy, they could use some rookie help, this team here. It's funny. So before we get San Fran, another huge fave today on the board. Last night it was like 4-2. It was 3-2. I'm looking at it. I'm like, boy, do I come in with like a giant live here last night? And with the 4-2, I'm like, they were like Giants were like 4-1 dog at that point. I was like, oh man. I looked up. It was like the bottom of the order coming up. I said, let me just do a run line. I'm sure I could scrape across a run to make it 4-3 and a plus 135 or whatever it was, 137. I was like, yeah, worth a shot, Then all of a sudden I look up, it's 5-2. I'm like, oh boy, that's a loser. And then this morning I see my Twitter feed, some Giant fan who's all excited. I look back, you lost that game 6-5. The bullpen comes in, walks, the bases loaded. Rockies
bullpen. Here we go. It's unbelievable. I didn't see it. I didn't see it in the game. I had no interest in it, vested interest in it. But just to see that, it's like, oh my gosh, you just gotta feel for this team. I mean, the fans. The product is bad. It's bad right now. But the farm system is good. I think they will eventually turn it around, like a lot of teams do, who are just horrible. It takes a few years, and I think they'll be fine. Just not this year.
You mentioned you feel bad for the fans. Let's talk about Kyle Freeland, starter today. So Robbie Ray, 2-1 fade, total 10.5. It was 11 last night. They dropped it a half. I kind of agree with the under a little bit here with that thought process on it. Kyle Freeland, 8th overall pick in the draft in 2014, 2015, whatever it was. Great year in 2017. 17-8, 2.85 ERA. 2.85 ERA. Excuse me, it was 2018. 2.85 ERA. 2.85 ERA, folks. People are thinking, this guy's – how do you think this guy feels? Turns over the back of his baseball card every day and goes 7-13 with like a 4.9, 5-something ERA for this squad. When things kind of went right for him, he was a Cy Young pitcher. Like literally, let's be honest. You go 17-8 with a 2.85 ERA for the Rockies. You should be a top 3 Cy Young kind of guy. And it's been downhill ever since. He's 32. He's been absolutely shelled Opposing teams, they're hitting 400 versus him at home this year. 48 hits in 25 innings, Matt. Now, I can't come in and say lay 2-1. The Giants offense, you needed 3 walks to generate runs last night. You might have Willie Adam A, who you're paying a bunch of money to, and who Chapman they paid money to the year before. The offense is not there. That being said, I can't lay 2-1. I do actually kind of like the under, but I'm going to look at the Giant team total, 5.5 over. Kyle Freeland, 5 runs at home, 3 runs at home, 6 runs at home, 9 runs, although only 5 were earned. 1 run versus the Phillies. Where's Jim? The Jim Nun's going to bring that up today. That way he didn't pop in the show. He pitched 7 innings, a 1-run ball versus the Phillies somehow, and 8 runs versus the Yanks. Although again, half of those were unearned. But if you're going to kind of autoplay me to a 4 spot on the starter alone, I'm gonna go team total over. I'm so torn on this because I want to do the under as well because I want to take the under because I'm not a fan of the Giant offense, and Robbie Ray's been great. Hello, Robbie Ray. I went into the Kyle Freeland. You've been bad. Robbie Ray's pulling his typical every few years I look like Cy Young guy. He pulled it in Arizona, and what year was that? I wrote it down somewhere. I just gotta look at my 2017. Then in the 2021 Toronto season, he had a great one, or a really good season, I should say.
Really good.
Right? Is that the year you won a Cy Young for Toronto? Then he had a couple injury-plagued years, and now, look at him this year. Are you kidding me? With his numbers this year, he's coming off a 2-run game, right? Against who did he play last time? San Diego? 2 runs for San Diego last time?
San Diego, yeah.
Ended up made with a 167 batting average against. Like, all good numbers. I love the whip. 0.85 whip, 0.90 whip. You're not even allowing a guy an inning. You're going to win some games. He is where he was in his best years. He looks like he's healthy. He's dealing minus 140 on a run line I can't do. A 2-1 money line I can't do. Even just for a win I can't do. I'm gonna cautiously, as opposed to doing the under, I'm gonna go over to 5.5 runs here for San Fran. Well, I still kind of like the under, but Freeland's numbers have just been so bad. I got to say over 5.5 for San Fran for me.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of correlates to what I like. I really didn't think about going that route. And when you said you can't play the San Fran run line, which is, I think it's last I saw was 137, which I think is doable if you like to play run lines. The one reason I do like it is, as you mentioned, Freeland's been awful. Giants won 6 straight, all 6 by 1 run. So this is completely a contrarian play to lay 1.5. That's what I'd like to do. I think the price is right if you like to lay a little bit of juice like that. And when I say it correlates to what you like, I think the Giants will score runs because Freeland has just not been great, as you mentioned. And Robbie Ray has only had like one really horrible start this year against Arizona. Yeah, it's in Colorado, but the Colorado offense isn't very good. And it seems like the runs, like we used to see like 13, 11 games all the time in Colorado. We're just starting seeing those this year, So I think Robbie Ray shuts them down. I think San Fran can, like you mentioned, get over 5.5. That seems low. It's a little juiced out at 130, but I think it's worth a shot for sure.
I'm thinking they get 6-1, maybe 6-0. Again, tough spot. I didn't think it would be this kind of a big number because I wanted to when I threw this one up there. It's the late game, and I thought maybe it's a spot to play on the Rockies. Come in here, we were talking about taking dogs, and that was my original thing. Hey, we'll look at a dog spot here. But at 170, definitely not worth the price. The way they lost last night, another kind of like, you got to be kidding me. You come in with your sagging heads and sagging shoulders. You're coming in. We should have had a win last night. Instead, we walk off with a terrible loss. I couldn't do that there. So, hey, listen, folks, we give you the free pick. We kind of tell you how our inner workings are on games and teams and things like that. So you get a little more of the thought process of how you should probably look at a game. Like, these are still people, and you're having a bad team and a bad season, and you let one slip away. They're not all hunky-dory coming in dancing like, we were right there, fellas. Are you kidding? This is a long season, baseball. long season. But all right, listen. Over team total 5.5 for me. Over 8.5. Nats Mets for Matt. Now, these are the free picks. Best Bets, gamblersworld.net. As mentioned before, Matt's pretty solid a run, to say the least. I'm thinking, I'll let Matt wants to. When you're doing well, you don't really kind of hype yourself. So and I'm not a huge hype guy, but Matt's been excellent. Again, as I mentioned, number 3 overall, Major League Baseball for the season. But play-wise, he's got the other 2 guys. If you combine those 2 guys, he still has more wins than both of them combined. All right, just his wins alone, you add up all their games, and they're barely matching Matt's just win total for the year. So he's got a double play up. Go get it. Plus NBA. You hate baseball? You're like, baseball stinks. I like the NBA. Hello. Matt's got you covered. And he's on a heater. Finally, I got a 3-pack. Go get it if you want. I did not have a winning day yesterday with my 3-pack. It happens. Again, multi-capper site. A lot of guys here use the leaderboard. Last but not least, 149 MLB through the All-Star break. A lot of action still. Me, Matt, a couple of the guys who usually come on the show. You see us during the week. A little more volume in baseball. Go get it. It's a great bargain at just 149. For Matt, myself, my squeaky voice. Sorry. Still. Take a while. But thanks for watching, everybody. Good to see you. Matt, good luck.
You too, buddy.
Take care.